I'm Stuart. Welcome to this video and welcome to this, my simulator. Yes, I've got my own simulator so I don't have to rely on the one at university, which is, well, always used for something that's more important than me having a bit of fun. So, what do I use this for then? Whenever I'm back in Hong Kong and not doing this, or this, so I'll show you around, talk you through this thing, and maybe even talk about how it's like to live with one of these things. This is it, my simulator. This particular model is an APIGA AP1. If you're interested, link is in the description below, so if you want to look it up, if you want to buy one of these, you can order them or you can phone them up. It's up to you. The steering wheel I've got attached on there is a Logitech G27. As you can see, 3 buttons, not 1, unlike the G25. 3 pedals, not 2. Manual transmission, not one of those all auto stuff. Although I can actually put it into sort of auto and flat pedals if I wanted to, but that all depends on the game. I can set it there. And then, as you can see, hooked up to my laptop. I'll admit it's not the best of laptops when it comes to trying to play some games. I mean, this is the same laptop on which I do my lab reports, so hopefully that'll give you an idea. And back here we've got a very comfortable bucket seat. This comes actually standard with the simulator. There is another model of it that is a bit more portable and you can actually stow it away. It's called the AP2, and the major difference there is that down here, instead of it being all welded together, this bit can fold down and you can fold it up and stow it away when you're not using it. So let's talk about living with one of these things then. Now this simulator I've actually had since 2015. It was July of 2015 that I first had this, and well, it's great actually living with one of these things. As long as you've got the space for it, or as long as you can figure out how this thing won't just rob all your bedroom space, then you should be absolutely fine. My personal recommendation from experience is if you've got a bunk bed, or a loft bed, whatever they call it, the lower compartment might actually be a good place for it to go, especially with loft beds because, well, you've just got this massive empty bit. So some of you might actually think at this point, you know, what's the point of having one of these things? Well, if you're anything like me and you just love driving whatever and you don't want to do it on the real road, or you can't do it on the real road because you don't have a certain piece of paper, then, you know, this is actually perfect. Even if I could drive on the road, this is great for when I want to drive something that's a little higher end. And also the fact that if I decide to go for a race on this one, I actually have a reset button, and it doesn't come with any of that inconvenient dying stuff if I screw something up. Right now I might not have the highest specs of laptops for gaming, and I might not have the most impressive library of racing games. I'm sure I'll eventually find enough racing games to actually justify one of these things, and also find a device that's good enough to handle some of the newer, better games. I mean, things like Forza, Assetto Corsa. I mean, these are the kind of stuff that I'd love to have, but I can't because I don't have a device that's capable of running them yet. As I said, I'm sure I'll get one someday, but I think that'll have to wait until I have actually more time, till I've got more time to spend back here in Hong Kong. Now at this point, some of you might also be pointing out that my gear stick is on the wrong side of the car, and that's because both the countries I happen to be in happen to be right-hand drive countries, which is why I'm shifting with my left hand with the gear stick on the left side of the simulator. Yeah, I can easily see why I actually spend 8 hours plus every day in this thing. Alright, Mustang, alright. Oh yeah, I forgot, this is a Mustang after all. It's meant to do that. As hard as it was, I actually managed to pull myself out of it before I end up being in there all night. Anyway, Despite it being a bit boring, sorry for that, hopefully you found it entertaining, hopefully you enjoyed it, and if you did, give it one of these, and if you haven't already done so, then subscribe and stay tuned for more. Besides, it's free anyway. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video. Stay tuned.